Yo, what's up guys, Nate here, welcome back. I want to take a look at Bitwig 6 today and some of the insanely cool stuff that you can do with the new sampler. I covered it briefly over at Sonic Academy the other day. If you want to go check out that video, go check out their channel. I've also got a full tech tip series of about 10 videos coming soon with a whole bunch of really cool, interesting ways that you can use the sampler creatively in Bitwig 6.1. But we're going to take a look at something pretty unique today. I think this is really cool. I think you guys will find this useful. Let's dive in and we're going to take a look. Okay, cool. So we are going to create some sort of ambient pad here using some of the granular tools inside of the new Bitwig sampler. But I'm going to go about this in a pretty interesting way, and we're going to do a multi-layered approach to this, but without having to do multiple layers, or at least multiple instruments. So if you take a look here, I've actually got a number of samples that I brought in here, and I've kind of chosen them for like a textural layer. And then we've got something like this, which is more of an ambient kind of pad sound. We've got this, which is an actual music loop. And I've just found two little vocal snippets here as well. Just kind of random stuff. I did take care to make sure that they were all in the same key for this example that I'm going to show you guys. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take basically just 2 bars of each of these and stick them kind of at the beginning here in a 8-bar loop. And that's pretty much what it is. Don't need to worry about the cuts or anything. I'm just going to consolidate those as one file and bounce them in place, or to a new channel if you prefer. So we've got that there. We now have them sort of all bundled into one file. We can take this one file and drop that into a new channel. And we now have, let's just call this Ambient Sampler. We now have a sort of composite audio file as the source inside of our sampler now to work with. So what we can do is instantly just turn on the slicing. You see it defaults to 8 slices, and we can get the first one, the second one, third, fourth. We don't need those in 8 though. We can actually drop the divisions down to 4. And now we've essentially got each one of our samples that we had there segmented into its own section. But they're all within the same instrument. So this is where stuff starts getting interesting now. If we decide to come and turn on Fragments down at the bottom here, we'll see we've got a single playhead now that is basically going to run along the bottom. Now you could actually do this, I just find that you've got more control over it this way with the slice. You could actually do this with a single mode as well and use offsets that would basically line up with the divisions, but I'll show you a few things with a single mode that makes more sense to do it like this now. And we're going to turn this off to, because currently we're triggering different sections by key. I want to be able to control the overall pitch by the key instead, so we're going to go down to the select parameter there as our means of choosing which segment we're going to be using. And you'll see we've got different values there for the select. That's for using the velocity. You'd be able to select that with different velocities instead, but we don't want to do that. I want to have them all running at the same time. So right now we're just triggering from everywhere the same thing. We can actually turn the pitch tracking on if we want. Now it's tracking the pitch of those two. Let's freeze these as well. And what I also want to do is I want to have actually, we can turn on the ping pong. Although that's going to be kind of a moot point though, because we're actually going to put these into freeze mode and then modulate them manually with LFOs. So right now we've got just the first one, and if we were to say adjust the offset position, you could get that playback of that first part happening by modulating the offsets. So let's do that right now, but first I want to show you how we're going to set this up. We're going to use voice stacking for this, so we're going to go up to 4 voices for this. And so we've got the most control here. I'm going to use the voice control modulator so that we can actually individually control each one of the playheads separately. So as you can see, if we use the selector, we can choose each one of the segments that we want to grab. So just be careful with the volume because we have got 4 of these playing now at the same time. We'll leave that position at 0. Second voice will choose the second segment. Third voice will be the third segment, and fourth voice will obviously be our vocal segment. Right, so you could actually double up the voices as well and have 8 voices and have them starting in different positions and go really kind of very complex with this. We'll just do 4 for now. What we're going to need just some means of moving the playhead, so we're going to use an LFO for this, and we'll essentially just grab this, and we'll set this to poly mode so that you've got 4 LFOs being generated, essentially 1 for each voice. Even though we're holding down 1 key, you'll see we're generating 4 of them. We're only going to need this to go unipolar, one direction, so we'll use this now to modulate the offset or the start time of this. There you go. Now you've got all 4 of them playing at the same time. Let's mess around with the timing of this LFO. Cool. We'll use that as a base speed, and then we can actually adjust each one of their settings for each one of these segments as well. I might want a second LFO here too, just for something like the panning of some of the levels of some of the sections. The way that you do this as well, by targeting each one of them like this, you want to leave this on poly again, but what you want to do is start off with the volume or the amplitude of this LFO down at 0. So essentially whatever you assign this to, it's not actually going to make any difference until you open that up with the voice that you want to assign to it. So let's say, for instance, we wanted to maybe assign, just slow this down a little bit here. That's the wrong one, sorry. So we're going to slow down this a little bit, but we want to assign this to panning, and we can assign that to the L and R for the whole thing, but you'll see nothing's actually going to actually happen if we have that set to 0. So there's no panning happening right now, but if we want, say, the voices, this one, to be adding that panning in, we just dial up the amplitude for that one on the voices only. Now you should have the panning occurring. We can also now play around with the speeds here. So let's say this one I want to kind of be quite slow with the textures, and we'll go textural elements. If any time you can't really hear what you're doing as well, you can actually just go to the inspector panel on the side here, and you can solo specific voices. So if you wanted to listen to just the textural parts that we're listening to now, solo that voice. I want to bring the density down so we kind of keep that sort of crackly. And let's also bring up the motion on those. That's sounding pretty cool. Right, and we can also maybe add in a little bit of randomness to some of these as well. So once again, the randomness, we'll just have that going free, poly, and we'll turn this down so that the random we can assign to all sorts of different stuff. Maybe the pitch could be random too, panning could be random. So you see, I've assigned this random parameter to a whole bunch of different things here now. And then you can add in how much of the randomness you want according to the voice controls here. So this one's going to be a little bit of random vibes. Let's solo a second one. come up. Something like that. Let's check out what number 3 was. And let's actually use number 2. We're gonna pitch that one up. Bring our volume back up again. And lastly, let's just check out the vocals. So the vocals I want to kind of have long grain, but less dense. And let's unsolo everything now and see what happens. I might actually even in this case just bring this one down for the vocals. Right, there we go. We're getting pretty close now. Of course, you want to finish this kind of stuff usually with some sort of delays and reverbs, etc. Let's just go really quickly without going too complex here. We'll just go with Supermassive, which is always just really good for these kind of delays. And in actual fact, actually, another one that's really nice to do this kind of thing is using the Valhalla, oh, not the Valhalla delay, just the regular delay plus from Bitwig, and using something like the space and dialing in the diffusion for this. Let's go stereo with that one too. Yeah, there we go. Now we can still play around with the master controls for these as well without changing the offsets that we have on everything, so we could play around with the global speed of the LFO. These two. And everything panning. And then of course, because we have this pitch tracking, we can play this like a pad sound now as well. And this really makes for a great sort of bed now for. And I'm working on a new Pigments bank. So let's take a look if we've got something like a. Yeah, just looking for a nice like pad sound that we can layer over the top of this so you can hear them in context. So here we go. Pretty cool. I mean, you can do some really interesting stuff, grabbing all sorts of different sound sources in the same fashion. You could go with more of them. You could go with less, but use more grain heads. You can do the same thing with all sorts of different sampler modes as well. So you can have totally different elements or sample sources and sound sources, but create wavetables that are running at multiple different points across multiple different sound sources using the cycles mode. So that's an example that I'll take a look at in the Sonic Academy Tech Tip series as well, and creating sort of real instruments but with multiple sound sources from different segments like this. Super interesting implementation, this, and this sampler, it's just endless at the moment. Like, there's so many ideas around what you can do with this. It's fantastic. So yeah, if you're thinking about trying out Bitwig, this is a really good reason to get into it. Right, so if you guys want to stay in touch, please consider joining the newsletter. You can grab the link down below. There's a couple of freebies for you guys there, including some wavetables, free samples, patches for Zebra 2, Polymer, a whole bunch of other stuff, I think Hive as well. I don't send out too much stuff, there's no spam or anything like that, but mostly just updates when I have a new pack available or when there's a new release on the label. And I am busy with some interesting stuff at the moment in terms of software development, which I will keep you guys in the loop soon. If you're on the mailing list, you'll get that information first. As always, it really helps if you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and otherwise I will see you soon. Catch you then. Cheers. Bye.